Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of Let's Talk Design. In this episode I'll talk about formal versus at-home training, what things developers can do to make it easier to work with designers, some of the lesser known tools that I use, and how clients are responding to the less traditional remote agency model. George asks, "Hi Dan, I listened to you on At Unfinished Business. Thank you very much. And have a topic suggestion. Formal training versus home learning and rates when starting in web design." So George, to give you a bit of background on me, you may or may not know how I kind of got into this thing, web design. So I actually did a graphic design course at college, which was what we have here in England called a BTEC, a National Diploma in Graphic Design. And it was great, and I learned lots. I learned about web design, I learned about graphic design, typography, etc., everything that surrounds the subject. I then went into university and did a year and absolutely hated it. Everything was very old and out of date, and it just didn't really suit me, and I didn't feel like I was really learning that much. So I decided to go freelance at that point and start doing part-time work in agencies. Obviously for me it worked out really well. And I think since then, I mean that was back in say like 2009, there have been loads of tools and sites that have come out to help people learn from home, which I think are great. So I definitely think that in terms of the speed, I think you could probably learn a lot more in say 6 months or a year from home if you're dedicated to it. But there's a lot to be said for university. You learn a lot about yourself, you learn about what you do and don't want to do. So I think there's still value in both. I can't personally justify the cost of going to university to study graphic design, but everyone's different. So yeah, I'd say to factor in everything that you want to get out of university, if it's something you really want to do, if that's what we're talking about anyway with traditional learning. But I do think tools that make it easier for you to learn from home are going to become more and more popular. The other thing is I'm not really sure you need a degree. I mean, I was hired quite a lot just off the fact I had a good portfolio at the time, and that got stronger and stronger the more work I did. It actually made me stand out a lot more against people that I was at university with or at college with. So, you know, do you really need the degree? I don't know. But hopefully the education model is going to start to shift a lot. I think we're going to see a lot more people learning from home and really pushing with that. Harry asks, what things can developers do to make it easy for designers to work with them? So I think the thing that developers need to probably do, or perhaps should be to understand, is design principles. In the same way that I think designers should understand development principles and the way that code is structured and how people are going to actually make the website is important, I think developers understanding the basic principles of design is really important too. The lines between design and development are definitely becoming blurred, and I think we're going to see, and we are already seeing, a lot more developers coming into design and vice versa, which I think is great. But if you do want to be a developer and that's what you decided you want to be, whether that's front end, back end, or just developer, then I'd say yeah, to learn some design principles, and I think that will help you a lot when you're looking to work with designers. Holly asks, do you have any lesser known tools and or programs you love and want to share with everyone? Thanks for the question, Ollie. Yeah, there's probably quite a few things actually that I could list. So thinking about it off the top of my head, there's something that comes into mind, which is ConvertCase. I think the website is convertcase.net. I'm not sure. I'll link it down below anyway. It's one of those really, really simple tools that just, when you're working with copy, so if you've been sent copy for a site and it's all in uppercase or it's all in lowercase and you just want to be able to quickly convert that into either all uppercase or etc. It just comes in really handy. The second one, I don't know how well known or unwell known it is, but IcoMoon is particularly handy for creating web fonts. So you can basically just upload your SVGs and create a font from there. It's just a really simple tool for making icon fonts really, so definitely worth checking out. UXPin is my wireframing tool of choice. It's really, really good. There's some much more popular ones out there, but I just find that really useful. So again, worth checking out. Colors.co is really cool as well for creating really interesting color palettes. It's definitely worth checking out. Go Mood Board is another really good tool. It's just super handy for creating simple mood boards really. I think it's gomoodboard.com and it's made by the people at Crew, and that's definitely worth checking out. Rebecca asks, how are clients generally responding to a less traditional agency model? For example, remote, few staff, etc. Hey Rebecca, so we are remote by default really. There was no way that myself and Ryan were ever going to be able to work in one place. He's up in Leeds, which is 250 odd miles from where I am down in Chichester. So it was the only real option for us. And I think generally our clients have responded, well actually all of our clients have responded really well to it. So there's never been an issue where they've kind of said we can't work with you because you're remote, and we make it fairly clear on our website that we are remote and the benefits of doing that. I think if you can make your case of why you are a remote agency and the benefits of doing that, then clients are generally going to respond fairly well to the idea. Obviously there are probably some more traditional clients that aren't going to work with a non-traditional kind of agency, but that's fine because at the end of the day we're not going to be for everybody, and I think that's the most important thing here, is that you aren't going to please everybody, or you aren't able to service everybody. And if you are trying to serve every single person, then I don't know if that is a really sustainable business model. So yeah, to summarize, it's not going to be for everybody, but we like to think that it's the future of the agency model, and we're pretty excited about it. Matt asks, how do you handle clients that suggest design or other changes that you feel will negatively affect the project? Hey Matt, so the best thing you can do is educate them on why they're going to negatively affect the project. You've got to be able to justify your decisions, and I think the best way to do this is to involve the client throughout. I've said this before, but generally it seems to be the best way of solving these problems and making sure they don't come up. So if the client is involved from the beginning right through to the end of the project, then it means they actually understand the process that you went through. And then if they do start to question something, you can say, well, the reason we did this is because from our research that we did with you, we figured out that your users wanted X, Y, Z. If they still don't get that and they come back and they say, no, but we really, really want to push this feature, and you know that it's going to negatively affect their site, their app, whatever it is, then you really need to just back that up with data. Get information as to why this is going to negatively affect the project, and then what the impact of that's going to have, not both on their site, but also for them working with you, because at the end of the day, if you put your energy into something that you think is going to negatively affect it, then chances are it's going to cost them more in the long run because they're going to have to fix it. So perhaps a way to look at this would be, yes, we can build that, but it's going to take 3 days longer, and we feel that the impact is going to be X, Y, Z, and explain that to them. And I think it all comes down to communication really. So last week I started a new feature called Cool Shit, and another week, and it's time for more cool shit. So the first thing I want to share with you is a really cool tool called Easy, which is, well, it says that it's web animation for designers, and basically what it is a tool that allows people like me who perhaps only know a little bit of code to actually create really beautiful animations in your designs, and it gets you thinking about how actually animations are going to be made and actually then implement them in your designs. That's really cool. The second one is an article published by GoPro last week, and it's about their design culture and how they work with hardware and software designers, and it's really interesting. I'll put the link down below, as with everything else that I mentioned in this segment, but it's definitely worth checking out. And the third one is Frank Chamaro's book, The Shape of Design. I've seen snippets of the book and it looks amazing, and it's now available in printed form for like $20. So definitely worth checking out. Again, link below, and there's international shipping as well. So if you're from the UK like me, it's probably going to cost you like $29, $30, something like that. But it's well worth getting. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next week.